Welcome to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 7 excuses HR gives older workers when passing them up for promotion. Now, these are excuses that I've heard from HR, but I've also heard these same excuses from corporate heads, from general managers, from line managers. I've heard these excuses many times. When I ran a chain of business-to-business magazines, I ran a weekly newspaper, a couple national trade show companies, a dozen other businesses. I got to be around a lot of managers, a lot of HR folks. So yes, I've heard these excuses, and they always make me cringe when I heard these. What they're doing is they're disguising their bias towards younger workers. These excuses avoid honesty, and my hope is this. My hope is that once you know these excuses, once you know why or how these excuses are being used against you, you can avoid them. You can steer yourself, put yourself in a better position so you can get that job, so you can make more money. So let's dive right into it. Let's dive into excuse number 1. We're looking for a new perspective. Reason that you could be given for not getting that promotion. There's different ways of saying it. There's different versions. But what they're really saying essentially is we don't value your perspective. We don't value your way of looking at things. But they're just saying it politely, and they may not even be looking at you in the face when they're saying it. They may not even be looking into your eyes. They may be looking out. Well, we just don't, we need a new perspective. What they really mean, though, besides that they don't value your perspective, what they really mean is we want somebody young. We want somebody who we can mold. We want someone who will toe the line. So they're just giving you this candy-coated, sugar-coated, well, we just want a new perspective, and that's why we can't give you that promotion. They think they're talking to a potted plant. They think they're speaking to someone who's just going to sit there and doesn't really know what they mean. But yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, you know what they mean. One thing I did forget to mention in the opening is that in the description box of this video, I've got a bunch of freebies for you. I've got a free side hustle starter kit. It's something that I created. If you're thinking, I am tired of working for someone else and it's time I get out on my own, I've got a side hustle starter kit that'll help you to get that business off the ground. I cover the basics. I also have in the description box something else that's free, a couple more things, but something else that I'll recommend to you too is I do have a free career fitter, career aptitude test. Check it out. There's a link in the description box. So now let's get back into our video. It's not the right fit for you. This is excuse number 2. And this excuse, it's right from the HR book of what I call the Book of the Damned. It's one of the most often used excuses for passing someone up for a promotion. It's easy for them to say, well, it's not the right fit for you. They just don't want to tell you to stay where you are and be content, or at least stay where you are and don't cause us any trouble. Just not the right fit for you. It's an easy one. It's so easy to say, well, this isn't the right fit for you. And what that's doing, though, what you're thinking anyway, what you're thinking that they're thinking is, well, there'll be a right fit down the road. But you know what? Hey, you've been there for a year or 5 years or 10. When is the right fit going to come along? This is a very disingenuous excuse, and it's one that's hurtful. Because it leads you on. It makes you think that one day, yeah, there will be the right fit for me. You're needed in your current role. That's what they tell you. The reason you're not getting this promotion is because you're needed in your current role. They're insinuating that you're so valuable to them. You're so essential. They can't afford to move you. They can't spare you by putting you in this other role, even though you've applied for the promotion, even though you know you deserve it, even though you want it. They're willing to risk losing you. If they thought you were so important in your current role, why would they be doing that? Why would they run the risk of losing you if they thought you were just so darn important to them? They think they're talking to somebody half your age. They think you're going to believe it, but you know better. You know better. You can size up the situation. You know what the job entails. You know You know that you should be getting this position. What's the real reason behind it? They're not going to be honest with you. They're telling you you're needed in your current role. How many times have you heard this excuse? Maybe for some other folks, some coworkers that you know have applied for positions, some older coworkers. Now, if you were essential, if you were really needed, they wouldn't run the risk of losing you for a position because they don't give you a position that you really want, need, and deserve. We chose someone with more recent skills. This is number 4. And I got to tell you, if I heard this reason, I would push my chair back from the desk and I would look them in the eye and I'd say, what? If I don't have the recent skills that you need, whose fault is that? Now, you could put some of the blame on me, for sure. But isn't it the company's responsibility to make sure their employees have up-to-date skills? If that company is forward-thinking and profit-motivated, isn't it their responsibility? So now you're telling me, as your older employee, that you can't give me that promotion because I don't have the more recent skills. How much sense does this make? Did they stand in front of a mirror at night practicing this excuse? We chose someone with more recent skills. That's why you're not getting the position. It makes no sense. If you hear that excuse, then you must know how valuable you are to that company, which is not very valuable. It was a highly competitive process. This is excuse number 5 that they're giving you. One of the excuses that invariably you are going to hear, or you know somebody who heard this excuse, and it gets them off the hook. And it's just so easy. Well, it was a highly competitive process, and you were close. They'll tell you that if they really want to try to really smooth it over with you. It was a highly competitive process, and it was this close. And I can imagine some of us, I know folks who've gone home and said to their wife or their husband, yeah, it was this close. I almost got that position. And to me, it's a cold way of just giving you a lie. It's an excuse that, like I said, it gets them off the hook because they don't have to give you a specific reason why you were passed up. And Lord knows they want to avoid ever telling you, well, it was because you're a little bit older and we wanted to go with somebody younger. But you can see the person that got the job. You can easily see that person, and you can more than likely see that they were a lot younger. I admire the confidence that an HR person has to have or project in giving this excuse, because to me, when I hear it, it's almost convincing. It's almost convincing. You want to believe it, but at the end of the day, and in your heart, you know it's not true. We're looking for someone who fits the team dynamic. This is excuse number 6. Now, you may not hear this or have heard this said quite the way that I'm saying it, but I've heard it many different ways, and it's always they try to be very, very professional, might use the words team dynamic. There's other words that they're going to use too. But when you hear that, the first thing that you would be thinking about it is, what team are you talking about? Aren't we all on the same team? If you don't think I'm on the same team, well, tell me what I need to do to be there, to get there, to be that person that you want. What you'll see, I suspect, is the person who's selected for that position is somebody who is a bit younger, maybe a lot younger. That's easy enough to see. But when they tell you that they're looking for somebody who fits the team dynamic, or like I said, in some other form or fashion, they say this, the first question on my mind is, what team am I on? I thought we were working together, and now I find out that I've been playing in the wrong game all along. You haven't demonstrated enough initiative. Now, this is excuse number 7 on our list. It's the last excuse. Doesn't mean it's the least. It's definitely one of the common excuses that you're going to hear. And it's usually just an excuse. I think an employer will pick apart at maybe the last 3 months or the last 6 months of what you've been doing. They're looking for a reason. And the easy way to say it is you just haven't demonstrated enough initiative. It's a very subjective reason for not giving you a promotion. And sometimes I have found that what happens with an employer is they're forgetting the fact that you've been focusing on some aspect, some core responsibility, and maybe you haven't done some things that they would like to see. But again, they're nitpicking. You've been focused on stuff that you know you got to get done. They're making up an excuse, and I've seen this number 7 very frequently when it comes to not giving you the promotion that you know you deserve and the promotion that you want. Well, there you go, my friends. I've just shared with you 7 excuses HR gives older workers when passing them up for promotion. And as I said in the very beginning, and I think I said throughout this list, is these are the most common reasons, at least the most common reasons that I've heard as someone who's literally worked with hundreds of HR folks, managers, business owners. I've heard these excuses more than once, so I've given you what I know to be the most common ones. My hope, as I also said, is that when you know these reasons, what you can do is try to steer clear of giving your employer any reason at all not to give you that promotion that you deserve. That's all I got for you. I do want to mention again that in the description box of this video, I've got some freebies for you. I have my free side hustle starter kit. If you're somebody out there who's just tired of working for a company and you think, hey man, it is time for me to get out on my own, start a side hustle first. I've got my free side hustle starter kit. There's a link in the description box. Also, if you are so inclined, go ahead and subscribe to Over 50 TV. Have a great day, everybody.